like to be parang clarified kasi parang sinasabi kanina na hindi, apart from the franchise na meron ang SMNI, supposedly, yung mga platforms ay hindi covered nito. Tama po ba, Mr. Chair? So, ibig sabihin, walang pag-limit dun sa paggamit, halimbawa ng Facebook, nung mga sinasabi kanina, yung the following. So, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask yung NTC, meron ba kayong power para ito ay hindi kumalat, Mr. Chair? Kasi parang, apparently, pinag-uusapan natin dito, sinuspend na, lahat na ginawa, pero ano yung ginagawa ngayon ng NTC with regards to this? Kasi parang ilang violations to if ever, 'di ba? Dahil sinabi nga natin na hindi na dapat mag-ere at hindi na dapat lumabas itong mga misinformation, disinformation na nagaganap.
NTC, please reply to the query of the Honorable Arlene Brosas.
Mr. Chair, yung coverage po that the NTC issued covers the free-to-air operation of SMNI of Suarasug. So ito po yung mga signals that are coming from over the air. However, yung the content that are being shown online is not covered by that because it's not within, hindi na po part ng franchise nila of the operations concomitant to the franchise, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair, no, kanina naman clearly sinabi na may mga violations. Tama ba, NTC? May violations ang SMNI, Mr. Chair? Ano ang mga specific violations nila after the cease and desist order, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
The NTC, the Honorable Brosas is addressing
Because
the
Mr. Chair,
measure.
there's a pending case with the NTC. If the NTC will answer that, it will jeopardize NTC with respect to the constitutional principle of impartial court, Mr. Chair. If they will answer is whether or not there's violation on the part of SMNI, when in fact there's pending case with SMNI and submitted for decision, Mr. Chair.
You agree with the position raised by the Attorney Tolentino?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, we would like to reserve comment on that one as this is actually the issue. This is also part of the issue that part of the administrative case.
Yes, but you know, that's a question raised by a member of the committee, and it is your duty to reply to the and not hide under the rule just because they have a pending question before you, the NTC. It doesn't stop you from answering the question of the committee.
Yes, Your Honor, we
So
recognize
please reply.
that.
Thank you.
If we may be allowed to reply
Yes, please.
at a later time on that one, Your Honor, as we but we will comply. We will reply to the query, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Brosas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, yung NTC kasi, they noted, they received reports, no, na showing that respondent SMNI did not strictly comply with the suspension aspect and was still operating in certain areas in Region 6 by as late as December 27, 2023, despite the 30-day suspension order issued by the NTC. Ngayon, maliban sa Region 6, meron pa bang report sa tanggap? Yun sana yung tatanungin ko, pero ayaw, baka hindi sasagutin ng NTC, no? Na nag-ooperate ng SMNI sa ibang lugar. Now, Mr. Chair, it seems like the SMNI has not taken seriously the suspension order of the NTC and its violations of several provisions of its franchise that were unveiled, no, nung na-discuss during the hearings dito sa House of Representatives, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, in reply to the query of the Honorable Arlene Brosas, based on the reports from the region, and Region 6 reported, it was Region 6 only that region reported on the continued operation. That is correct,
Mr. Chair.
Your Honor.
Thank you,
Sila
Mr.
po yung
Chair.
nag-submit ng
Oo.
report on that one. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chair, ngayon naman gusto kong maliwanagan doon sa kung pwede bang merong gawing aksyon ng NTC, no? Kaugnay dito sa mga platforms na ito, halimbawa sa social media accounts, yung binabanggit kanina, kasi ang active pa ngayon yung Facebook, SMNI, gikan sa masa para sa masa pulso ng bayan news blast. Sa YouTube, laban kasama ang Bayan Sunshine Media, DZAR 1026. Tapos yung TikTok, SMNI News, Pulso ng Bayan News Blast. May magagawa ba ang NTC dito, Mr. Chair?
Proceed. Please answer.
Just, if we may be allowed to explain a little,
Please.
Mr. Chair. Like what we mentioned earlier, the order issued by the NTC principally covers the privileges granted under the franchise of SMNI. And this includes the provisioning of free-to-air broadcast services, radio and television. Insofar as the other platforms like social media, we would like to inform that these are basically not within the realm of the operations of the franchise, Mr. Chair. So we are at this time limited only to the scope of what the franchise the authorities granted as a result of the franchise is covered, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, kung ganun yung mga lumalabas, puro red tagging, fake news, etc. dito sa mga following platforms na ito, Mr. Chair, hindi ba dapat ay i-address din natin tong usapin na ito, Mr. Chair? Hindi ba dapat i-suspend din natin yung operations, no, ng may mga record ng red tagging? And sino-sino, Mr. Chair, gusto nating malaman, sino-sino ba yung mga managers ng accounts na ito? Saka ano yung guidelines, social media posting ng SMNI sa program na ito, Mr. Chair?
Yes, okay. Okay, NTC, ano po masasabi niyo sa sinabi ni Honorable Rosas?
We'll take cognizance of the observations by the Honorable Arlene Brosas, Mr. Chair, and we'll take a look at those instances, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And
Sir Chair, may action ba, may pwede bang gawin yung NTC as far as we know dito sa mga cases na ganito? Wala. Hindi nila covered yung mga social media platforms,
I
yung
think that-
sa website, pagtanggal, pag-suspend, Mr. Chair?
NTC, is that with your mandate?
Well, insofar as the authorities issued by the NTC sa SMNI, Mr. Chair, unfortunately, hindi po siya covered doon. So we will have to take a look at it further if ever, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we will have to study that particular issue and look at the mandate of NTC. And of course, in coordination, we also have to discuss this with the ICT. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So the question now is to SMNI. Pwede niyo po pong sagutin? Ano po mga komento niyo dito sa sinabi po ni Congresswoman Brosas?
I was asking for the manager of accounts.
I think,
Sino-sino?
Mr. Chair,
Sige ho, Attorney Mark.
the Honorable Congresswoman Brosas, Mr. Chair, she has an option to file a case against the SMNI. There is criminal case. There's also a civil case. And for the anchors, because all the statements of the anchors are not the official stand of SMNI. That is their personal opinion. In fact, as what I've said in our previous hearing, Mr. Chair, there is a disclaimer in every program. So, and I would like to cite also the constitutional, the Supreme Court jurisprudence, Mr. Chair, that there is the freedom of press and freedom of expression is the highest, one of the highest constitutional right guaranteed by the state, Mr. Chair.
Alam po niyo, mahaba na akong diskusyon yung issue yan. Even the previous hearing, and you were shut down on that issue, and we made it very clear that in a democratic space, there's also limitations, and of course, one of them is in fake news is not part of it. So anyway, we will not anywhere go there because you've argued that way, and the committee has already positioned already
Okay.
on that
Mr. Chair.
particular issue. On the disclaimer, we have manifested in the past that you cannot use this because you can imagine if all black timers will have a disclaimer, and therefore you're now trying to tell us that MTRCB has no reach over all of these particular programs and their content. So I don't think we can also hide under that. But anyway, we now proceed. Congresswoman
Yes,
Brosas,
Mr. Chair.
please proceed.
I have a specific request. Ang specific request ko po ay malaman kung sino-sino ang may-ari ng mga media accounts na ito. And if it's possible to give this to the committee right now. Kasi alam naman siguro nila yan at meron naman silang kopya kung sino-sino yung mga kaninong mga accounts ito, Mr. Chair.
That account, Mr. Chair, is owned by SMNI. That is not the account of the personal accounts per staff, but is owned by the Suarasug Media Corporation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
So sila pa rin, Mr. Chair. Sa kanila pa rin yun, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Even yung guidelines sa social media posting ng SMNI, meron kayo? Paano nyo yun kinoconsider? Anong ginagamit ninyo? You have papers with you kung ano yung mga media accounts na meron kayo sa YouTube, sa Facebook, sa TikTok. Can we have that right now?
It
Mr.
was
Chair.
already answered, Mr. Chair, that the SMNI has a different social media accounts per program, Mr. Chair.
Look, Mr. Chair, gusto nating makita yung reach. Gusto nating makita kung gaano yung inaabot ng kasinungalingan, ng sinasabi ng mga red tagging, ng mga sinasabi na peddling of fake news. Kailangan makita natin kung paano yun sa aktual. Sino-sino yung may hawak noon? Hanggang saan yung mga, ano-anong mga media accounts, Facebook yun, ano-anong mga ganito yan, Mr. Chair. So I was just asking for that, Mr. Chair. It is a list, Mr. Chair, na dapat isubmit ng SMNI, Mr. Chair.
We direct SMNI to submit the list as requested by the Honorable Arlene Brosas. And in the next hearing, we will again follow up on this list. Thank you very much. And yeah,
Sorry, last na lang, Mr. Chair. Oo, kasi
anyway,
tungkol po
Mr. Chair, we will
before-
consider the request of Congresswoman Brosas, Mr. Chair, but we're studying also the possible violation of the right to privacy, Mr. Chair, and right against self-incrimination, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so please study your options. Thank you. And we will also, the Honorable Paduano, the Honorable Brosas will insist on that list because this committee would ask so that we are clear as to what is being violated and what particular platforms are being used. But before we proceed, I just like to inform everyone that your names have been submitted to the floor for your attendance. Thank you. So now, you still have a question before we go to the next interpreter?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Last na lang, Mr. Chair. No? Up to what extent is Apollo Kibuloy's influence in SMNI? Ano po ang kanyang posisyon sa kumpanya sa ngayon, Mr. Chair.
We already answered that, Mr. Chair. Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy is the honorary chairman of SMNI. And he's not part of the day-to-day operation of SMNI.
Chair, credited siya sa lahat ng mga shows, Mr. Chair.
That is part of our freedom of press and freedom of expression, Mr. Chair, to credit anybody that we want to credit, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, bakit sinasabi sa bawat show, no? Halimbawa, ng Laban Kasama ang Bayan, palagi pong nagpapasalamat ito sa host kay Apollo Kibuloy. And I quote, "At gayon din sa ating pinakamamahal, kagalang-galang at butihing pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy na siyang gumawa, may akda at nagpahatid ng programang ito, Mr. Chair." So every time yon, Mr. Chair, tapos sasabihin niyo sa akin, ganito yung kanyang position lang.
Nagpapasalamat, Mr. Chair, yung mga anchor in their personal capacity, Mr. Chair.
Anyway, Mr. Chair, we have several questions dito sa kay Pastor Kibuloy, Mr. Chair. I think it's about time that we call, Mr. Chair, for Pastor Kibuloy na pumunta dito at to answer our questions, our specific questions. Ano po? Kasi, Mr. Chair, siguro last time naman, na-request naman na natin ito Heads of agencies come here in Congress para tayo ay sagutin sa mga mahahalaga nating tanong. And we would like to, siguro dapat, it's about time na paupuin po natin, paharapin po natin, at matanong natin ng diretsyo si Pastor Kibuloy dito sa mga katanungan natin kasi hindi po ito masasagot ng attorney lang, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much.